So recently, the Cleveland Cavaliers have re-signed J.R. Smith on a 4-year, $57 million deal, and that puts them about $36 million over the cap, that's a lot of money to be. So, Mitchell, what are your thoughts about this re-signing?
Well, I feel like it's pretty good for the Cavs, obviously, because they've re-signed a player who looked all right, I guess, in the finals. You know, he seemed pretty good. Obviously, the team is pretty happy that it's happened. I mean, LeBron's put some tweets up and stuff saying so happy that JR's back on the team. So it's good for the team. For the organisation, they might take a few hits, sort of thing, like they're going to get fined. However, like, they did get fined last year, and, like, it didn't affect them. They just
stop them.
Yeah, they just don't do anything about it. So, Ryan, any thoughts?
No, I mean, that's the benefits of having a rich owner.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at franchises like the smaller markets, like your Utah and your Denver. They just can't pay the luxury tax. Obviously, that's why they don't have the rosters aren't filled up and filled with stars and over the salary cap. But I mean, the Cavs had to re-sign him. They didn't have a choice. You know what I mean? He was integral. I actually think he'll be. He's actually a really big part of their team simply because he allows Kevin Love not to just be a spot-up shooter, as in JR can take that role from Kevin Love, because I think Kevin Love needs to return to how he did back in his Minnesota days. They really do need the Kevin Love of Minnesota, because I mean without him, I don't like. Can they contest with the Warriors without him?
Yeah, well,
unless he's performing, how he did.
Well, you've seen in the preseason so far, all the announcers and they have been saying they think he's a lot more confident now, and they think he's going to have a comeback year essentially. So hopefully he will be able to play like he used to, because they need that rebounder, that 3-point shooter that he was in Minnesota, and he was carrying them there. But
he needs to perform better than he did in the
final.
He's
a shadow of his former self.
He really didn't play well in the final. Like, they could have won it without. I honestly will not be shocked if the Cavs struggle early on, which is definitely a possibility. I wouldn't be shocked if he got traded. Honestly,
I thought he was going to be traded in the offseason.
I was shocked he wasn't.
A lot of people were. If they didn't win the NBA championship, he very well would have been traded.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, if they do struggle, who do you? Well, I'm getting a bit off topic, but who would you trade it for? Kevin Love. Who would you get rid of him for?
Well, they're obviously going to get a decent player back for Kevin Love.
Boogie.
I don't really know. They could even go.
I don't know.
They could even go for
Boogie.
Hassan Whiteside. Maybe. I mean,
maybe,
they wouldn't mind him playing the centre position.
No, but going back to J.R. Smith, what do you think how do you think he'll fit into the side? Like, do you think they'll keep him as the shooting guard, starting shooting guard, or
I believe he
sixth man they'll bring in, or what do you think?
J.R. Smith could easily be a sixth man. Didn't he win sixth man of the year in New York?
Yeah, he won it with the New York Knicks.
Yeah, and he's very good off the bench, but I don't see Cavs starting any other shooting guards.
They need shooting.
Twos. Yeah, Shumpert, he's a good defensive player, but I mean his shooting's not amazingly consistent. I mean J.R. Smith is not amazingly consistent either, but when he's on fire, he can make the shot.
They just need him to spread the floor. I mean, when you got LeBron who can dish it out to basically anyone, and he's a playmaker, you need him. And I think it was integral that they re-signed him, because if you have a look, if they don't re-sign J.R. Smith, who you got playing shooting guard? You got Shumpert, Felder, McRae. They aren't going to get you to beat the Warriors. So as far as I'm concerned, they had to sign him.
Yeah.
It was a foregone conclusion. There was obviously some money issues at the start. Do you reckon this will hold tension between the front office, the GMs, JR?
I feel like it probably not. I mean, I see the owner will just pay the tax like he did last year. The owner will just pay it, get it out the way, and they'll just focus on winning a championship again. Sort of thing. Like, they won't be worried about all the politics and everything. They'll just be worried about winning, sort of thing.
Yeah, because the same thing happened with Tristan Thompson last year. If you remember, he missed a fair amount of preseason games and training camp because of obviously money issues. But listen to the statistic: the Cleveland Cavaliers starting five are worth $100 million in salaries. They are,
and their whole bench is worth $20 million.
And the salary cap is $94 million. So their starters are $6 million. Like, just with their starters, they are $6 million over the salary cap.
It's ridiculous that Cleveland are able to do this. I mean, you see all the other teams, like, they can't do anything about it. I mean, the NBA taxed them, $50 million they fined them. But they paid it easy, and it doesn't stop them. They're still doing it this year. They've done it 2 years in a row. They're very far over the cap. Like, it's insane that they're able to do this.
Well, should the
It's
NBA
quite
raise the
unfair.
tax? Should the NBA raise the tax, try and make it a more level playing field?
I think they should. I mean, it's a little bit unfair to the other teams. I mean, you don't see teams like Utah, like you said, going out and trying to like sign all these players because they can't. Like the cap doesn't allow it. So I mean, it's unfair to the other teams in the league, really. But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything they can really do about it at the moment.
No, they got a short window.
Yeah.
They got extreme.
Yeah.
Like, you look, and they all... I mean, your main core players, your Tristan Thompsons, your Kevin Loves, your LeBron James, your Kyrie Irvings, all their contracts really finish in 2020, 2019, I think LeBron comes off. I think after that, they're really going to go back to what they were at the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They're just going to go back to simply being a crap hole. They're going to have to rebuild. You know, no one will go there. You know, and unfortunately, it'll be they'll
Well,
only have one era.
you don't think LeBron and Kyrie will re-sign
No, no. I honestly don't. I don't think they'll be able
after
to.
winning the champion?
I think after the tax, I think
Yeah.
after all the, because these 4 years, they're really going to tax them. And
Yeah.
I like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if they raised it. Next, the next CBA agreement they have, where all
Yep.
the owners meet together, and the NBA, like, you know, make sure, like we saw this year, rule changes with the you know, the intentional fouling.
Yeah,
like the hacker,
the Hacker Shack.
yeah, Hacker Shack, Hacker Jordan. They really changed it to, you know, be able to accommodate that. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially with more super teams,
Yeah.
as we'll
Oh,
talk
yeah,
on
yeah.
later on in the podcast. But you know, with the growing amount of super teams, you know, I'm sure the NBA will need to combat it, and I think that's really the only way they'll be able to is by
Yeah.
taking money out of the pockets. Or, I mean, they already have the hard cap, but with bird rights, you know, I mean, the salary cap's a joke, to be honest. You know, you can be over the salary cap, and well, you still get fined as long as you're a rich owner.
Yeah.
You know, as long as your owner has no worries paying the money out, I really don't see it changing. But if obviously the Miami Heat were an option, you know, of signing J.R. Smith.
Yeah.
How real do you think these threats were, or do you think it was just like what we saw with Dwayne Wade with Milwaukee? You know, just trying to bump the price up.
Oh, I'd say it's just like Dwayne Wade, just trying to bump the price. I'd
Yeah.
say JR was probably never going to accept a contract from anyone else unless he really
Yeah, I
had
mean,
to.
They just won a championship, and J.R.
Yeah.
Smith has a great chemistry with LeBron. As you saw, LeBron was like, he was angry that J.R. Smith hadn't been signed by them yet. So I think you're definitely right.
Yeah.
I think, he just wanted the money.
But he just needed to bump the tax up, his price up,
Yeah.
to make him happy.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, he's got a championship, so it wouldn't have surprised me if he left. To be honest, I mean, he's like, if you look at accomplishments, he's won the championship, and if a place like Miami or Boston were willing to fork out like 10 to 12 million more than Cavs were,
And
you
he
know.
could be a centerpiece in other teams as well.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about him being a sixth man, but we're also saying if he's hot, he's hot. I mean, in Cavs, he doesn't have a chance to shine. I mean, you got
Oh, no,
Kyrie,
yeah.
Love,
behind the
LeBron.
big three, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's like a role player. Like he doesn't get to do anything in the Cavs. So if he got signed by another team, he could have an impact. Like if he played for Miami, he could have a big impact. Like I mean, they don't have Wade anymore, so he would have been a good fit.
Oh,
shooting guard
they
role.
definitely lack a shooting guard, yeah. And so with the Cavs now, obviously, basically keeping the same nucleus, with the signing of J.R. Smith, can they contest the Warriors in the finals?
Yeah, I think I can definitely contest the Warriors. I mean, they did a pretty good job of it. The season we just saw, they did a pretty good job of it and ended up winning. So obviously they contested well. And the year before, I mean, they were missing a lot of players.
struck
They
by
still
injuries, yeah.
contested him very well. So I mean, I mean, the Warriors did get Kevin Durant. We can't put that aside. But their bench is also not as deep as it was. And I could say that I reckon the Cavs do have. Even though they only have 20 mil on their bench, their bench is alright. I mean, they got McRae, they have Felder. They both look very good, those two young players. But I think they could definitely contest, yeah.
I'd agree with you there, Judah. They can definitely contest with them. I'd say the main reason, though, would be because the Warriors lost their rim protector. You know, Bogut.
What about JaVale?
They got JaVale. Oh, well, they haven't got him yet, have they?
I think he's still in a training camp deal.
Yeah, he's still at the training camp.
I didn't say that. The way he's performing, I think they'll sign him.
He's been playing
they'll
very
probably
well.
sign
Hey,
him.
watch out, he may be getting a max. 25 mil for 4 years, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Watch out, breakout season, JaVale this year.
unless they sign JaVale, they don't really have a rim protector, you know, and that's where.
Zaza and, yeah.
Zaza.
They're weak inside.
Because that's where the Cavs attack. Like you see them in the
Oh.
final, they just attack inside.
Yeah, LeBron's a freight train. He
Yeah.
goes in. They need that inside presence. And you're right. They don't have a Zaza. I mean, they have a Zaza, but like what can he do? They have Verja, Zaza, two big men that aren't known for their defensive abilities. So I mean, there's nothing.
Oh, they lost Festus. I was just gonna say they lost Festus Azili
Yeah,
as well,
true,
who was
true.
massive for him. You know,
He was really good.
although Bogut was a good rim protector for him,
Yeah, he was an
in
anchor.
playing the pick and roll, he's a bit slower. Like with his age now.
Yeah.
Festus Azili being able
That's
to
why
come
JaVale.
on, yeah.
That's why JaVale would be a good signing. I mean, he does get a lot of flack for his
Boneheaded
MVPs,
plays,
just
yeah.
acting. Yeah, but he's actually a very athletic. He's actually a very athletic player, and he's got pretty long wingspan. He's able to block. We've seen in the preseason.
Yeah.
He's been getting the blocks up. He's been playing very well, and I think Warriors could really use him if he can keep that up.
I think the Warriors are a perfect fit for him. Honestly, I think they can
With
turn him
the
into
type
that.
of
Yeah,
with
with the
type-
system they got there, I think they're serious enough to be able to reel him in. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's playing on a contender, so if he doesn't perform, people will be going, well, you got guys like Durant, Draymond, Curry, Clay, going, well, hang on, there's someone to reel him in.
Yeah.
But no, to wrap it up, we all agree it's a good signing for the Cavs.
Yeah,
Bring
good
him
for the
back
Cavs.
Al Smith.
Yeah, it's good for the Cavs.